On the resume, these are a few pointers for you to note. I think I have evaluated about 700, 800 CVs along the way. I was also the in charge for the shortlisting process for Calcutta from McKinsey for quite a bit, right? So at least I managed it for a couple of years. These are the aspects that I usually looked at during the resumes, right? I think the key, at least in Calcutta and other Ahmedabad and Bangalore, I've seen that the CVs are typically one pager in length. You don't extend beyond a page. I'm guessing that's also something similar followed across other IIMs, and IIM Indore will be one of those as well. You have typically one line statements talking about different points or your achievements along the way. You typically bucket your pointers in logical buckets, like academics, extracurriculars, internships, and so on. But within those also, I would recommend you to create smallish buckets, right? In my case, I had created buckets for, CAT and MBA, CACS, and some scholarships, right? Say within academics. In say work experience, I had built buckets around the major projects that I've done in my work experience, as also say a bucket for achievements that I had in my work, right? In extracurriculars, you can do it along the lines of the different extracurricular activities that you would have performed. Say table tennis, sports is one of them. You can build, you can have something on dance or whatever, in case you have some sort of a passion or achievement on those fronts, right? So those are the ways that I have seen typically buckets being made, and it's super important and easy for you to make also, and then it eases the life of the person reading the resume, because in a one sort of a glance, say a 5-10 second view, he can get an understanding of the kind of profile you have, the overall balance in the CV, the key aspects that you've highlighted along the way, right? So you will have to also then within these buckets use very punchy lines, keep fluffy language to a minimum, use as much of pointed text as possible, right? Also highlight or use bold text in case you guys are allowed by the placecom to notify the scale of the achievement. Say for example, if you worked towards solving a big problem which led to 100 crore benefit for the particular organization that you're working for, then 100 crore is a number that I would love to highlight, right? So saved 100 crore rupees for such and such organization through such and such project. In that, I think saved 100 crore is a big number for you to highlight. So figure out these aspects or impacts of the project or work that you would have done. I think that is the most crucial one to highlight. Then I think preparing a balanced CV as much as possible. I know you can't change much of what has already been done in your life, but you can at least present it in a way that it makes the most sense. So if you have a very heavy academic CV where you've done a lot of academic stuff like I had, but don't have as much on extracurriculars, still try and keep some sort of a balance in the CV where you have almost an equal number of points being mentioned across academics, work experience, and extracurriculars, because that just shows that the person is slightly more rounded, which is what is required in the world of consulting. You just don't have to be a bookish nerd kind of a guy. You will also have to talk about your aspects and your ability to initiate conversations in multiple dimensions, right? Which comes in handy when you have had experiences, achievements in different domains along the way. Then I think this start your CV with the strongest section is my belief. So if you have a very good academic career, then please do start with that, right? There's no point in mentioning a 3-year work experience when you've already had great achievements in academics. Please start with talking about academics usually, if you have had great experience there. Or if you think your work experience is something that's a standout, then you can start from that also. For example, if you've worked in, say, a JP Morgan before, or you worked in, say, a Microsoft before, right? Please do start with work experience. I mean, even that is fine with us, because those names do lend a lot of credibility to your CV and make your CV stand out from a bunch of, say, 300, 400 CVs that the same recruiter might be looking at, right? So it's important with all of this for you to be able to make your CV stand out from the mix that the recruiter is evaluating, and try and look for those spikes in the CV that you can clearly highlight, right? So you'll have to talk about what is different in your CV or your profile, which some of your peers might not have. Unfortunately, it's a game where you are pitted against individuals, right? And the consulting firm typically will have only so many seats to offer. So try and highlight your best in the CV in the most easy and readable manner for the recruiter, right? And if you are looking for some functional consulting or specialized consulting roles, then please do have additional aspects that just talk about those, right? Because it might not help to make a very generic CV which doesn't talk about the specialized function that you are applying for. So if you have an operations heavy profile, I would request for you to include any sort of, say, Six Sigma certifications that you might have had along the way, or other certifications or courses that you might have done, or special projects and operations that you might have done in your undergrad. So that just lends more credibility on your capabilities to do projects in operations space.